Hi, I'm Nate with TTTP Plumbing and Heating. Today we're going to go over water heater maintenance and servicing. Should be done every 6 to 12 months to avoid tank failure and prolong the life of your water heater. Before we do anything, we want to kill all energy sources, that being of electrical, water, and then gas. So we're going to go ahead and start with the electrical. So the electrical is going to be up here. Since this is a power vent, this is a powered vent for the flue piping. We're going to go ahead and unplug it. We're going to go to turning the water off, and this is how we know it's off. The parallel with the pipe is on, perpendicular with the pipe is off, so completely going against the piping. Then we're going to go ahead and turn off the power here as well, just for extra precautionary things. And then we're going to go over to the gas line and turn the gas valve off. Again, this is going to be much like the ball valve. Parallel with the pipe is on, perpendicular with the pipe is off. As you can see, we're 100% turned off there. If you're trying to locate any of the valves for the gas or the water, it's just important to note here to follow this line. This is your gas line going into your gas valve here. Just follow that back, and that's where you'll find your shutoff, and which just happens to be at the main in the back there. If you're gonna find the water on these water heaters, typically follow the water lines on the top, and then it's gonna be on the cold water side, which it's labeled on the top cold, and then you follow it up and you're gonna find it right there. Now that we have everything off, we're gonna go ahead and hook up a garden hose that you can get at any hardware store, and that's gonna go to the drain. You're gonna find the drain typically at the bottom of the water heater. That's where all the sediment's at. So we're gonna go ahead and hook this garden hose up to this female end on this drain. We wanna make sure that's nice and snug. You don't wanna get any mess anywhere. And then you're gonna need a flathead screwdriver on this particular water heater. Some have handles, but this one just has a slotted handle here. So we're gonna need a flathead screwdriver. And we're gonna go from in here, we're gonna fix it into the slotted part, and we're gonna turn that on nice and slow. And make sure the other end of this garden hose is at a drain that you know is working well. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that on nice and slow. So as you can hear, it's starting to drain. But something else here, as this water starts to drain down, it starts to cause a vacuum. Much like if you were to put your finger on a straw, it won't allow that water to go until you release that vacuum. So we're gonna do that here at the temperature and pressure relief valve, which you can find typically at the top, or sometimes it's on the top of the water here. But we're gonna go ahead and open that up. And then until it's completely pointed out, you can start to hear the water's really running at this point. So this could take several minutes. This could take maybe to an hour, depending on how much sediment is in your tank. The question is, though, you might be asking, what is that sediment? Here in Colorado, we have pretty hard water, and that calcium in the water, as it starts to heat that up, it starts to separate that calcium in the water, and that starts to come down and starts to fall down to the bottom of your tank. That tank at that point is starting to get a calcium buildup. So if you could picture it, this gas valve is at the bottom. It's heating through the bottom of the tank, through that calcium deposits, and it's trying to heat the water on top of the calcium. Over time, that will burn a hole through the tank. So that's where you get the tank failure. So that's why it's so important that you do this every 6 months to 12 months. Okay, at this point, the water heater's completely drained. We're gonna go ahead and reverse the process and get the water turned back on safely. The biggest thing is, I want everybody to remember, do everything slow. Never shock a plumbing system. It'll create problems down the line for yourself. It could blow a 90 off on the other side of the house. So just make sure everything you do is nice and slow and concise. So at this point, we're gonna reverse the methods here. Remember, we let the vacuum go. So we're gonna go ahead and close the TMP. That's a temperature and pressure relief valve. We're gonna go ahead and let that go until it's completely loose. We know it's not open anymore. So you remember, it was completely out to be on. We're gonna go back through and go down to the drain again with our flathead screwdriver. We're gonna go ahead and just fit that in the slotted portion and turn it until it is completely perpendicular and we know we're drained, okay? At this point, we're gonna go back to the gas, turn the gas on, and we turn this on again as well while we're here. We're gonna go ahead and follow that gas line back just like we did before to the gas valve. And again, perpendicular was off, so we're gonna go parallel again with that. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that on. It's parallel with the piping now. So the gas is on. And at this point, this is where we need to turn the water on nice and slow. Again, we don't want to shock the plumbing system. So we're just going to go ahead and crack it here. And when I say crack, you're moving it ever so slightly and just let it go from there a little bit. Nice and slow. And remember, you don't want any stress put on these more than it has to be. So we're going to go ahead and kind of speed it up. Now again, much like the vacuum, we need to relieve some of the pressure that's in the tank as well. So we're going to do that again through that temperature and pressure relief valve, and we're only going to burp it here. We're just letting any air that's in there out. So again, just a burp. And we're going to go ahead and burp it again. And it looks like we may already starting to get water going through the system here. It's just feeling like that it is. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on a little bit more. You can hear quite a bit of water still going, but still, you notice I didn't turn it even 50% on. This is nice and slow, nice and easy. Don't get yourself in a hurry here. Okay, we're about 50% on. I'm going to go ahead and burp it maybe just a little more. Sounds like we're getting water going through there, so we're at least filled to here. Now notice I don't hear anything really pushing through the valve much anymore, so it's probably safe to say we can turn that 100% on. We're going to go ahead and power the gas back up and the power, so we've already turned that on, and now we're going to go back to our power source. And being that this is a power vent, the Honeywell gas valve's already going to pre-fire up on its own. As you noticed, the power vent here is kicking on, it's purging, and it's beginning to fire the gas water heater at the bottom. Lastly, if you're doing your servicing your water heater, look to see if you have an expansion tank. Codes now require that expansion tanks or expansion valves be put in. It's a safety precaution in case your temperature and pressure relief valve doesn't work. As this is growing and it's heating up, it gives that pressure somewhere to go. Instead of your plumbing system, it puts it into your expansion tank. So if you hear your plumber say you need an expansion tank, that is why. It's a safety precaution for you and your home. And that's your basic water heater maintenance. And remember, if you have any issues with servicing your water heater or any other plumbing and heating issues, call us at TTTP Plumbing and Heating. We price match guarantee any reputable contractor that's out there.